Hi, hello, Vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little Slav YouTube channel. So today in this video we are going to see about one of the very crucial factors in performance testing, because most of us know, even if the background or the backend loads very quick, a slow front end can lead to losing customers as end users are dissatisfied with the application's front end performance. And most of us would have seen, like, the CPU, the memory would be performing very well, but still the front end would be very slow, and it, it is actually a very irritating aspect in terms of the end user, and he might feel disgusting to wait for a long time using the application, even to order some items or to book a ticket. So in those scenarios, the front end plays a main role, or in a lead role, in bringing out or in surfacing the issue. So in this video we will see some of the techniques or some of the methods to address the front-end performance testing issues in the application. So we will follow some of these simple methods, and I'm going through a separate playlist on what are all the front-end performance issues which has to be identified and has to be fixed. So in this video I will give you an elaborate idea on what happens and how to fix those issues. So before we move on to the video, I welcome you all to Little Sly YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like and share the video with your friends. So the first method to identify or to find the issue is to use the dev tools, developer tools, we would say. So to visit the dev tools, you have to visit the web page you are testing for the front end performance, and you have to open the developer tool. So you can either click on F12 button or the Control Shift I, and you can navigate to the network tab at the bottom. So here at the network tab at the bottom you can find the following details. So for example, let me give you or take you through an example. So here I have an application. So let me even open the Pet Store application for you and show you. And when I click on the F12 button, it will take me to the developer tool. So under this, as I told you, navigate to the network tab. Let me refresh it again, and let me even go to one of the few pages inside so that you can view some details. So here, I click on F12. I'm on the network tab. Let me refresh it to load the items here. So as I told you, so once you open this part, the dev tools, here you'll find the details in separate tabs here. So you have to ensure that the HTML document is less than 100 KB. So here you can see the size of all these individual modules. So you have to make sure that the HTML document is less than 100 KB, which is loaded from the DNS with the appropriate caching mechanism. You have to keep the images. So for example, if you have any images here, you have to make sure that you're keeping the images under 100 KB, and the resolution should be half of the actual size during loading. For example, a 1 MB of image should be 500 KB for better performance. And the next thing is you have to keep the JS and CSS under 100 KB. You have to compress and minify them without any blank spaces between codes. So by doing this, you can keep the JS and CSS under 100 KB, and also you have to ensure that any request sent to the server on a specific page or functionality is also less than 100 KB. So everything or anything that you send should have a maximum size of 100 KB, and you have to make sure that they are minified and they are compressed, right? So the second part, which is the tools, the testing tools. So what are the tools you can use for monitoring or to identify these issues? So you can either use web page speed test, or you can use the Google Lighthouse. Let me open the Lighthouse for you. So here you can see it's inbuilt for Chrome or Edge. You can use this Lighthouse and you can do a page analysis, you can analyze the page loader. You can do it through mobile, or if you want, you can try the desktop. And there are like multiple categories as well for the other non-performance, like the performance, the accessibility, the best practices, the SEO. SEO is the search engine optimization part, and then the progressive web app. So you can test lots and lots of items using this. So by using these tools, they'll provide you insights onto how your web front end behaves. So this is the second method. And then the third method is to collect the insights. So what kind of insights do you expect? So there are lots and lots of metrics. So but apart from that, there are some critical, sorry for the spelling mistake here. So the major or the very critical metrics that you have to collect in terms of the front end performance testing is the time to first byte. That's the very first critical, because that's the first byte that comes to your page to load, and then the rendering time, and then the loading time. So these are the three critical aspects. So I haven't even discussed them about these in a separate videos in our playlist. I will share you those links in the description here. So these metrics actually follow a waterfall model defining how a web page application should load for optimal performance. And I can even show you how do they work. So let me open the application for you, and when I do the let me choose desktop and I do the analyze page load. So this will start preparing the waterfall model for us. So because what does this waterfall model does is, so the waterfall model actually displays the time it takes for the request to load. So you can see here. So this will actually show us the time how does it load. In fact, through right on in network you can see. So this is what I told you, the waterfall model. So here you can see the waterfall model. So this will show you how does it gets loaded into your web page. So this is the actual way it gets loaded. So at the very first moment, the catalog.action gets loaded, and then the CSS file get loaded, and slowly you can see the files get loaded, and the last point is where it gets completely loaded. So the same way, it displays the time. Again, it displays the time it takes for request to load the content to the front end in milliseconds. So this is how you can identify, or you can get more insights on how do the page loads. And this is very important. So in case if you are facing a lot of issues, or if you are feeling a lot of slowness, you are very well welcome to monitor these. And then the next part is how to provide a better user experience. So your application should load in the following format. So the first thing is the HTML. So that is the first thing that has to be downloaded. The next one, which is the JS, the JavaScript, and it has to be compressed and minified, and that's very important. And it has to be less than 100 KB, as I told you in the very first method and the first technique. And then the CSS, which has to be again compressed and minified, and has to be less than 100 KB. And then the image, and then the font. So all of these has to be less than 100 KB. This is the order they have to be loaded into the application in the following format. So this is how you can improve the performance of your application in the front end perspective. So I think we have reached the end of the presentation. So in case if you have any doubts or queries, please reach out to me at my gmail.com. So until I meet you in another interesting video, it's bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little Slaw.